We've seen a lot of passion today. We saw a lot of passion Tuesday, and we've seen a lot of passion in the two committee meetings. And I will tell you that no matter what names are thrown around of titles that whether I may be or other people in this chamber may be, I'm always going to see the good. I'm always going to see the hope, because that's what I do. So I will say, while we disagree on a lot, one thing I do know is that every member in this chamber that has spoken today, that has spoken in committee, we care a lot about our kids. That's a good thing, and that's hope. I see it. What we disagree on is what's the role of the school district and what's the role of the parent. But we agree what's best for our kids. For just a moment, I'm going to ask you to do me one favor, and that is that let's put down the noise of our phones and the virtual world that is social media and Twitter and everything that comes with it. The outside voices that operate on clicks, retweets, headlines, that often can use downtrodden as a stool to leverage their agenda. And for just a moment, let's talk about what we're doing, what the words on the page do. I believe an idea that creating boundaries at an early age of what it's appropriate in our schools, when we are funding our schools, is not hate. It's actually providing boundaries, and it's fair to our teachers and our school districts to know what we expect. The idea that engaging the parents in critical decisions is controversial, I reject that idea. That a parent being blocked out is okay, I reject that idea. The idea that creating a cause of action is unfair to the school district, and that creating a course of action for a parent to remedy an issue is unfair to the school district. It's not unfair to the school district. I'll tell you who it's fair to. It's fair to the parents in creating a level playing field to be able to insert themselves as the parent. I think that discussion around empowering parents and the fact that an engaged parent, an empowered parent, that leads to a more quality life for that child. Every one of us, if we're talking to our teachers at home, if we have children, I can assure you they will tell you that. I met with teachers in my office that were opponents and supporters of this bill. And there is one thing we will always agree on when they've walked out of that room, is that an empowered parent is a good thing, and that an empowered parent leads to a better student, leads to a better quality for that student. The idea that right here in Florida, we have school districts who have words and policies written on paper that somehow initiate parent disengagement, that initiate building a wall between a parent and the school district, is wrong, and it's got to end. Outside the noise of Twitter and the virtual world are real people. I want to tell you really briefly two of them. When I was a young man, several years ago, I mentored a boy who went to Miami-Dade, to one of the schools in Miami-Dade. He lived in a very, very rough neighborhood. Oftentimes when I would go see him, I would get approached at my truck. Either they were trying to sell me something or they were trying to buy something from me. They were sizing me up. That was in this kid's neighborhood. That was right in his front yard. His mom was a bus driver, and she worked multiple jobs. And she would tell me about how her students, her boys, her 4 boys that lived in that house with her, how they were bullied at school. And I was helpless. I didn't know what to tell her. I was just a kid, just getting married, just starting my life. I had no idea what to tell her. I didn't know where to send her. So then I think of one more parent. And that's a single mom that I met just a few months ago. At dinner, I noticed a waitress that was very upset. You could tell. So I asked her what was going on. And she told me about her 4th grade daughter that was being bullied at school. And she told me about how she couldn't get a call back. She couldn't understand why they weren't doing something. She didn't have time to keep chasing to get a meeting. And so within one text message, I connected her with a principal directly. Not every parent is going to have the ability to have a politician build a bridge between the parent and the school district. So just in a moment, we're going to vote, and you have a choice. We have a choice to empower parents in Florida, or we have a choice to empower school districts. I'm asking for you to side with the side of parents in Florida.
Members, Representative Harding having closed on his bill, the question now recurs on final passage of CS for House Bill 1557. The clerk will unlock the machine and members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Clerk will lock the machine, announce the vote.
69 yeas, 47 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill pass.